Hello and welcome to my 2023 video diary type thing. This isn't going to be a movie video, so apologies, but I've been mulling over a video like this for quite a while. More so as I've seen things getting so much better on the channel in this year. More recent months, which is a given, but I just wanted to kind of talk about it, what's changed, the pros and the cons, where I'm at now, where things are going to go. Now this video will be in chapters and broken up neatly, so if you want to see something in particular, just have a look at the chapters. I'm going to try and keep it to like condensed areas, I'll do my best. So very firstly, let's just get the big one out of the way, which is obviously fucking thank you. Like thank you to all of yous. Thank you to every single one of yous that have shown any form of support towards this channel since it started. Whether you've been here from day one, you've jumped on the bandwagon more recently, in either case, it's fucking awesome. And I know I say that in my videos, and YouTubers tend to say it. It really does make sense why it's cliche. Like, it really fucking does. And to go one more on the old cliches, I could not have done this without you. I know when you hear that, people a lot of the time just think bullshit. It's YouTube. I literally could not have done it without you. What my channel is based on views, which is down to yous watching. So, it's pretty true here. I'm going to peel back the layers a little bit on YouTube for some of yous that might not know how it works behind the scenes, and trust me, I'm still fucking learning. Like, the algorithm alone is a minefield to navigate. But I'll keep it as simple as I can and just let you know really how the support impacts, not just me, but like any YouTuber you support. It massively helps. There are so many ways in which YouTube judges your video's performance to then see how it's going to promote it further. I learned this as my channel went on. Like, this wasn't shit I learned day one and started YouTube. No, you pick it up as you go. So if I've ever came up and like you're recommended and that's how you found me, it's down to people that have already watched my channel, supported me, that kind of pushed it to you, if that makes sense, and then you watching it does it for somebody else. It's pretty cool like that when it works. My baseline understanding is videos typically do get a little bit of a nudge, a little push out the door from YouTube to start with, put it in a few people's recommended. And then if people click on it, YouTube thinks, oh, well, people are enjoying this, I'll put it in other people's recommended, and so on and so forth. But if people aren't watching that in the recommended, YouTube will then take that away and put it in another video that's recommended, because at the end of the day, all they want is people watching videos. They want to make sure they're recommending the best content. There's no skin off YouTube's nose, because at the end of the day, they have infinite content. Like, what's getting uploaded to what's getting watched per like second is insane. To be part of that and be recommended to anyone is fucking awesome, especially when it happens over quite a long time. So when I say thank you for supporting the channel, that can be anything at all that you can think of, any form of engagement. The obvious ones are liking and commenting, that puts a bit of interaction on the video. The big one is of course subscribing to the channel, that boosts numbers, and you can even see which videos are bringing in subscribers. So YouTube is aware of that video is itself bringing in subs, it must be fucking good, let's promote it more. See, if you don't click anything, you just watch the videos and go, even how long you watch the video for helps. It's honestly, everything is calculated. I don't know about your works, but my work loves fucking spreadsheets, and it feels like YouTube loves spreadsheets as well. Like, they will take all the data they can get and make sure they're promoting the right fucking thing. So yeah, with all that coming together, YouTube is kind of like that buddy you all probably have that recommends videos to you on YouTube. YouTube kind of nuzzles up beside you and is like, hey man, I think you're going to like this video. You've liked other videos that are quite similar, so give it a watch. And if you do that, they'll keep recommending you things that are similar. Does that make sense? That's kind of the algorithm in a nutshell. Now I can promise you, I'm not going to be clickbaiting shit. I'm not a fan of it, I hate when I see it, and it is just awful, I like to just sit down, talk about the thing, and be as authentic as I possibly fucking can be for you, and I hope that shows. This isn't some massively scripted and redrafted for the best version of me. This video right now, I'm sitting with my tablet, a few bullet points, and just kind of riffing, I hope you enjoy what it is. So I'm not playing into the algorithm, but I'm closely understanding, what's going to work for my channel and what's not going to work for it. You're not going to suddenly see me do Mr. Beast buried videos, but I am going to look at the movies that do well. That's kind of where my channel steered and changed over the years. Next up, I just want to touch on my journey to YouTube partner this year. Well, it's been going on for a few years, but really this is the year that I really got my head down. I started reviewing kind of a lot of things on my channel, not just movies, and made it happen. No word of a lie, I did say in January of this year that come the end of the year, I would be a partner. That was my end goal. That was my focus this year. I gave myself a year to do it, which is pretty fair. I achieved it, just not in the way I expected. If you've been around this channel for a while, you'll know that I used to put out like weekly movie reviews, and that slowly morphed and changed into the more kind of breakdowns or bigger questions or just things I think about I want to talk about, you know, as opposed to just standard reviews. The reviews I'd done were on the movies that got a lot less talked about. And the reason I did this is when I did work in Blockbusters, I would often gravitate towards those. Like, I would stock the shelves and put the big blockbusters up, but see, going down to that bottom shelf or like the bargain bucket, you'd find some really good hidden gems in there that everybody just walked past every time they came in and out the shop, because they, of course, just went to the big blockbusters up on the top shelf. I always found that in those not so good movies, there was a lot more creativity. You can watch a few big blockbusters and it is more rare to see one of them really stand out as something unique. The smaller movies, they often try something new, and that's what I love. That's what I enjoy so much when talking about movies. Granted, the execution's not always amazing, but the thought's there, you know, they've got heart in them, and that's what I'm here for. Now, there are of course pros and cons to when I was doing these movies, and the pros were I was watching a lot more movies, like a lot more different styled movies, more creative movies, and it was fucking awesome. I still do, don't worry, I just don't put them out. But I was getting through a lot more creative movies and finding those gems that I could recommend to other people. Another reason, as these movies were less talked about, if you then watched the movie and then wanted to see a review on it, or you want to see the review before watching it, there was a higher chance that you would find my video. So that kind of worked in my favour. And very lastly, one of the coolest things was, because I was maybe one of the few searches, I was getting interactions from people that worked on the fucking movies. And I'm talking people that have wrote them, starred in them, you name it. And I've double checked these things, like I've seen their channels and it all checks out. I've spoken to writers and directors and it's fucking cool to see. It's really nice. Now the flip of this, the cons of doing that. And this is almost just going to parallel the 3 reasons I've given already, but here we go. I was watching some terrible movies. They're not all gems, they're not all big hitters. Some of them deserve to be in the bargain bucket. I'm sorry to say, someone tried and bloody failed. And you just can't help feel, but you've just wasted an hour and a half watching a movie, and then you know you're not going to talk about it. That was always a bit of a gutter. Now, because the movies are of course less talked about, and I might be one of the few videos out there, they're less talked about for a reason. Less people know about them, so less people are going to go look them up and maybe find you. Like, yes, I might have been one of few videos, but in the grand scheme of like moviegoers, there were few watching it, you know, there were few trying to see reviews on it more so. So it was always like a catch-22. I wanted to do something that was different, you know, you watch a big blockbuster, look up a review for it, and there are fucking thousands of videos on it. I don't want to be just another voice in that realm. You get overshadowed so fast, and people do it better. You know, they've got the time to keep pumping them out. I still work full time. It's difficult to go to the cinema, watch a movie, come back, record it, put it out, whilst also doing my 40 hours a week, you know? Anyway, that was a long way to say this, but in January, one video just started popping off, and that video was Soft and Quiet. I actually uploaded the video when it came out, and it was in like December 22. You know, it was towards the end of the previous year, but it wasn't until almost January 1st that it started popping off and getting in what was, in comparison to my channel, a shit ton of views. It wasn't groundbreaking in the realm of YouTube, but for my little channel, the little channel that could, fuck me, it was awesome. And that is what put it in my head that this can fucking happen. Every so often there might be one of these smaller movies that gets picked up in an article somewhere, so people flock to it, look it up, and that's probably how Soft and Quiet got found. So as the months went on, I did continue doing these weekly videos, these weekly movie reviews, but I did want to dabble in other things, more for my own creativity. And the one example I've got is kind of what started it for me was, why did Ghostbusters 2 not do as well as Ghostbusters 1? Why did I forget it existed? So I wanted to sit down, research it, put a video together on it and put that out. It wasn't a review of Ghostbusters 2, but it was putting a lot of my findings together. You know, the other one I had there was why Graham Norton is the best late night talk show. And he is, objectively speaking. Watch my video. I've got a lot backing it up. And both of these videos are ones I am damn proud of. And in my opinion, those videos and what I'm doing now is still within the same DNA of my channel. You know, it might not be a cut and dry movie review. It could be talking about a totally different topic, a talk show host. I could do a movie breakdown. I'm still injecting it with that sort of Gob Sensibility. And how my channel has changed brings me on to where you can find me now. If you look back, you can see that I also put out some shorts, I also have Instagram, you know, all these sort of things, because I thought it's good to just try and cast a wide net, cover all bases, and that might bring in eyes from all different sources. It's fucking exhausting. I can't even juggle multiple social medias for my personal life, you know, even before YouTube. So I don't know why I thought I could fucking do it for YouTube, where you have to be constant. I would do YouTube lives as well when I started streaming, which were a lot of fun, and I will explain why, because I've seen some comments wondering why that's the case. Now shorts, an easy answer right there. They took about a couple of hours to put together, schedule, name, you know, and organise. They're very hit or miss. You don't need the shorts if you've seen the full video, so I just decided get rid of the shorts. They brought in some more eyes. I met some people that are still supporting me today through them, which is fucking awesome. But in my opinion, my efforts could be better focused on other projects, not just cutting up an already made project. Does that make sense? As for streaming, and I've moved from YouTube over to Twitch for that, it makes sense for a few reasons. Number one, Twitch is just so much better suited for streaming. It really is. I'm sorry, YouTube, but the dashboard for Twitch, how everything integrates there, it's just fucking great. YouTube Live feels like it's gone stale. You know, YouTube have focused on long form content. They've made shorts and they keep boosting on shorts and changing it up and making them better, whereas Live is so stale, it's so stagnant, nothing's changed with it. And another reason is, for a channel all about movies, me then streaming games, I thought would probably confuse the algorithm a little. You know, I feel that if you subscribe to one of my videos, you're here for movie content, it might piss you off. It might annoy you that you see a notification, you know, coming through about Gubs going live and be like, that's not for me. So I wanted to make it all about movies here, and if you enjoy me and you want to see more of me, go to Twitch and we can stream games. We can chat shit, you know, talk movies, not sports. I was about to say sports there, I don't know why. I don't know a fucking thing about sports. But we can just shoot the shit, you know, have fun. And that brings me on to the final reason is, it is funner. There are ways that you can interact on the stream, you know, you've got blurps and emotes where you don't have to pay. It's all free. If you're just watching the content, you can have fun with it. So since changing over to that, it's managed to clear up a lot for me, you know? I just stream on Twitch and I make my videos on YouTube, and it is easy done. So if you do want to find me, you can find me in 3 places. I'll be streaming live on Twitch, you'll find my videos on YouTube, and on Twitter you can find me just chatting shit, making shite puns, talking about games, and keeping you up to date if I'm working on things. That is really the go-to now. Now when I was mulling over this video, I put out a post on YouTube asking you all what you would think, that I was thinking of doing it, and if you just had any questions, because as a viewer, I personally do love chances that I can interact with creators I enjoy. I know I'm not big, I'm just small potatoes in the big fields of YouTube, but I thought I would do the same. So in doing that, I've got a few cues to A for you all, and let's just run through them. Alan Dargan, I'm going to go with. Apologies, Alan. There are maybe 1-2 questions I would like to ask. 2's fine, you're welcome to ask 2. What's your favourite horror movie? And how did you decide you wanted to make content based on horror media? So when asking what my favourite horror movie is, like blanket statement, fuck me, that was difficult. They all scratch a different itch for me, you know? So I had a wee think, I went through different kind of types of horror, and this list, by the way, is always changing. It'll always evolve. I'll rewatch one and it goes back in the top spot, so don't hold me to this. This is where I would place my favourite kind of sub-horror genre movies. For a psychological horror, I'm going to go with It Follows. Like, that one is unbelievable. I love just the tensity of such a simple force, and it never really gets explained either. If you've not seen It Follows, it's basically like a demonic STD. It's fucking great. It sounds ridiculous. I love it. For comedy horror, I am obviously going to go with Shaun of the Dead. Edgar Wright doesn't miss. Shaun of the Dead, when I first got it on DVD, I watched it every night for about 2 to 3 weeks and just ingrained it in my head. You'd think I'd be sick of it. Nope. I can watch it still endlessly to this day, and finding new things like in the background or details or callbacks in the movie, it makes me so much happier. You know, I do that with all of his movies because he's fucking awesome. Zombie horror is going to be Train to Busan. I didn't know about watching this movie at first. I was unsure if it was going to be that good. It has got probably the best zombies I've ever seen in a movie. They dial back a lot of the shit that you get in zombie horrors, and it is tense. That train scene when they're moving carriage to carriage, but like we learn a different thing as they navigate each carriage. Amazing. For a horror slasher, it's going to go to my main man, Art the Clown, for Terrifier 2. Fucking hell. If you've seen my video on Terrifier 2, I wasn't lying when I said it changed me. I wasn't lying when I said it will fucking stick with me forever. That's all still accurate. I love it. I love the brutality. I love the gore and the lore to it. It's weird. He's funny, he's creepy, he's unpredictable, which is the best thing. And not just in the sense of, you don't know what he's going to do next. You know he's going to kill someone, you don't know how. And that to me is what makes a villain. Like, it's one thing that Michael Myers walks after you and you don't know if he's going to catch up to you. How about Art the Clown? You don't know if he's going to fucking teleport to you and he's going to lacerate you, shoot you, or scalp you. Like that. That to me is horror 101. It's fucking awesome. Gory horror, I'm going to throw it to Saw 2. Saw 1, I know people, right? People love Saw, and that's fine, and it's great, and I love it too. It is one of the best movies, not just horrors, I've ever seen. So tightly written. I love a claustrophobic movie. You all know that by now. But I think Saw 2 as a sequel is so underrated. Saw 2 doesn't seem to get the recognition it deserves. You know, a lot of people jump to Terminator and its sequel. They go to Alien and Aliens, which I'll come to later in the list. And they managed to build on the first movie, make it bigger, make it better. Saw 2 doesn't get that love. And that upsets me. For possession horror, I'm going to put it to REC, or REC, I don't know what people call it. It's fucking incredible. It's a, what do you call it, found footage movie. Can't believe I forgot that on this channel of all places. It follows a journalist documenting a fire brigade. They get called into a building which gets shut down. And yeah, if you've seen REC 2, you're going to know why I said possession and not zombie. Because the two movies literally are perfect together. The first one ends and the second one starts. Watch them back to back. The second one, recontextualize the first one. It's so good. Claustrophobic horror, I'm going to put it to Gerald's Game. If you've not seen Gerald's Game, holy hell is it worth a watch. It's basically a couple go away for the weekend, they get a cabin, they want to get a bit kinky, and she gets tied down. Turns out, her man has a heart attack and dies. So the movie is now her, kinkily tied down to a bed, but having to escape it. I love it. It's like 127 hours meets boobs, and it's not good boobs, don't worry, it's not full of boobs. But just that kind of trapped idea, like you're just with her in the room. And there's a few other elements they throw in. And of course, monster horror, I'm going to throw it to previously mentioned Aliens. What a fucking movie that is. As a sequel as well. It's so good. It's just, I don't need to say any more on it. Aliens. And to answer your second question, how did I decide to make movies on horror media? I think horror is the most expansive genre. I might be wrong on that, you might have a different opinion. That's fine. That's why comment sections exist. But if you think, like, comedy's subjective, right? I might watch a comedy and think it's dog shit. You might watch it and love it. But there's something objective about a good horror, I feel. You know, a good thriller, a good horror movie. They can still be subjective. You might not like gore, you might like gore, that sort of thing. But they are innately good or bad, it feels. I think the subcategories of horror, I mentioned a few just there, leave so much room for creativity. You know, people can try their own spin, find new ways to scare you. That's what excites me about movies. NATO's asking, what do I look for in a movie to review? It's quite difficult to answer that because it's not a specific list. Like, I'm not going through a checklist. Really, I like to find a movie that might not be very well known, you know, ones that haven't been seen by the masses. And it can either be one that is really, really fucking good that deserves to be talked about. I am more than happy to dive into it. Or alternatively, it's one that's bad. Now, I've had my fair share of bad movies. Not all bad movies make good videos. I'm talking the bad movies that you could have so much fun watching with. You know, imagine you're with all your friends on a Friday night, maybe having a few drinks, playing a drinking game to it. That's the type of movie for me. It is bad. It's like laughably bad. But it's not intentionally laughably bad. Does that make sense? That's kind of what I look for. Dawn of Comics is asking, will this be a live stream or a pre-recorded video? Pre-recorded? That's that one answered. Gonat says you seem to find value in the dullest movies. Are there any I think are truly worthless? That's tough. I will answer it with this. One of the main reasons I stopped doing weekly movie reviews was because of one in particular, and that movie was Jessica. And I'm saying that intentionally, Jessica. The blurb looked okay for the movie. A little indie horror, I'll give it a watch. Basically some girl's being haunted by her ex. It seemed quite interesting, maybe a bit different. It's one of the dullest fucking experiences I've ever had in a movie. In a nutshell, you've got two girls at a cabin. They were friends from school. They rekindled because one of them was on the run and they bumped into each other. So she brings her in for the night to like just let her chill. Turns out she was on the run from her ex-boyfriend she killed, so she was running. But her ex-boyfriend's a ghost and he's shouting on her. And the reason the movie's called Jessica is because he has a lisp. So he says Jessica. And it's not even like a haunting movie. It's not even like He's not even like a ghost fucking with her. He's like outside the cabin almost all of the movie. Just go, Jessica. It's so shit. Oh, that one's worthless. I'm sorry anyone who's watched Jessica. Stop. Not Today says, I'm relatively new here, welcome, and I'd like to know what your favourite pieces of media are. Movies, games, books and the like. Congrats on the success, I'm enjoying film breakdowns and the recommendations. Kinda said that a bit wrong, I put that in the wrong place, but thank you nonetheless. So my favourite pieces of media. Games, initially I just think of Dark Souls. I'm a big Souls-like fan. I fucking love them. Like right now I'm on stream as well playing The Last of Us for the first time. That's fucking great. I enjoy Serious Sam. I know the kind of mindless shooting games. But Dark Souls and Souls-likes, they're the ones that just took me over and changed everything I thought about with games. Like The Witcher 3 was insanely easy to me after playing Dark Souls because I was just dodging everything. You know, you couldn't hit me. I was fucking, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna toot my own horn for a minute. I was fucking good. But yeah, if we're taking that, Elden Ring is top dog for me. Elden Ring, it's gotta be. As for movies, that changes again quite a lot. I would say one of my favourites I've ever watched, ever, and I do a lot, is Hot Fuzz. It's just so good. It is funny, it is hilarious, it is original in the ways that things are depicted. Go back and watch him travelling to the small town. Like, go see Simon Pegg getting on the train when his signal and his battery are coming down. That is not a transition you normally get in a movie. Normally you would see him driving the road, big overhead shot, and just some chill music playing. But here, Edgar Wright puts in effort. It's one of the best movies ever made. I will die on that hill. It's probably a hill that a lot of us are dying on. As for books, not gonna lie to you, not a big reader. I've read very few books in my days, and even the ones I've read, I would hardly call them novels. You wouldn't walk into English class with them. I read the novelisation of the Hulk movie. I read the Dead Island book. I read one called Money Chasers. I think that's what it's called. My dad gave me it. He's a massive reader. And I was like, Dad, give me a coffee table book you could go to sort of any time. It's all about people working in banks and fucking with money. It's fucking good. It's a good coffee table book. So, Money Chasers, if I'm saying it right. I've got it in the other room. I'm comfy. I'm not gonna lie. I'm comfy. I'll find it. I'll put a picture up of it. That's the one to get. Forrest Campbell asks, favourite music genres? And what are all the knickknacks in the background and stickers on the whiteboard? Well, music genres, I don't really have one, which I know seems like a cop-out answer. You know that way, if it's good, it's good. That's kind of where I'm at with it. Anything from pop, anything, I just like some soft acoustics a lot of the time, you know, something chill. I like rock, a lot of rock. My dad's a big rock fan, that definitely filtered down to me. Any sort of hip hop, I love rap, I love, you know, there's so many. My Spotify is one of the most just varied, wild playlists. You know, I just bang it all in one pot, hit shuffle and see what happens sort of person. It works in my favour. And with all my knickknacks, I'm going to have to jump over to a different camera, get you a bit of an up-close look. The whiteboard though, it's not that interesting. I'll show you a few stickers on it, but see everything over that side. It's like my monthly bills. I keep track of what I got going out every month. It's just financial. It's not important. It's like what, O2 comes out on the 29th. That cost me £55. Expensive, but it's just shit like that. It keeps me on track for the month. So for stickers, it's a company called 40. They're a clothing company, pretty cool. I just like their sticker, it's been there for a while as you can see. TSM, big league fan, supporting TSM. And old school Filter Franco. And then this is a magnet. That's all that is. As for these, I've got a canvas painted by my missus. I've got a canvas painted by my dad, which is awesome. He is the J-Man. And then a canvas for my logo, which was bought to me by one of my besties, which is fucking awesome. Shout out to you. And then we come on to knickknacks. This is so varied, as you can see up here. Let me turn it. It's bits and bobs. That I find hilarious, and the missus hates, and that's why it's here. Some bear flipping you off. I've got Stitch, I've got Grogu's, I've got a Pelican, I've got Walter White just lying down, I've got Dark Souls guy, Iron Man, got a Poro, got a mug, I've got my Are You Scared? I had to buy it after the video. I've got my Sneak shelf, because I fucking love Sneak, and there's really no more to it than that. I've got my whiskey shelf, I've got a terrarium, some DVDs here. You know, it's just bits and bobs really. This here though, let me show you this. It is Billy Connolly Lego. I waited in queue for that for hours. And very lastly, Zach Harkin says, I'm sure you'll touch on it in the video, but I'm curious on how you felt when that Are You Scared video blew up. Also, which of these movies was your favourite to review? So I've kind of not touched on it in the video because I've seen the questions, like warning, I've read them ahead of time. It felt surreal. It really did feel surreal to me. It still does to a degree. I was ticking along and I was kind of on track to make, or at least meet the criteria needed to become a YouTube partner. And then that video came out and just skyrocketed. If some of you are watching after coming, once that video was out or maybe a bit after it, I had a rocky start to that video where I put it up. It had been copyright claimed a few times, so I had to keep re-uploading it until eventually I found one that, cool, it's worked and it's free now. So when it was live and it was doing well, it had a few hundred views, which again, isn't mind-blowing, but for a little channel that could, it was awesome. I was watching it, I was refreshing it every day. Like, it was really cool to see my analytics going up. It then got copyright claimed, and part of this claim was it blocked it in 80% of the world. Like, you can be blocked for a few different reasons, you can't make money, it blocks it in certain regions, things like that. This one blocked me in 80% of the world, and it was all the big countries that were watching my videos anyway. It was pretty disheartening, it really was, so I challenged it. I got the copyright claim removed from the video, but it stopped all that traction to a halt. And I thought, well, that's it then, So it was fine, I wasn't beaten up from it. Even a few hundred views to me at the time was like, that's fucking awesome. Move on to the next project. And then I noticed it was eventually just started taking off again, like much later. And I couldn't get my head around it. I've still got a screenshot of when it was at like 1,000 views, because even that to me, I couldn't get my head around. That was insane levels of views for my channel. I hope you can appreciate 1,000 views. I never thought I'd see the day. Like, I wanted to see the day by the end of the year. I didn't think I would see the day. You can imagine how much it blew my mind when it went higher than that and higher than that. And then it got to like 5 digits and then 6 digits. Absolutely insane. So yeah, surreal is the best word. I enjoy the video. I put a lot of effort into it. I fucking just enjoy the process from watching the movie, having my jokes, making my commentary, editing in the kind of punchlines or whatever it is. I thoroughly enjoy all that. So the fact a couple hundred people enjoyed it, I was happy with. The fact a couple 100,000 people enjoyed it, whew, that was different. That was big. I felt like Mr. Beast, I'm not gonna lie to you. I felt like Mr. Beast. And it was great. And as for my favourite one to review, that's tough. I enjoy them all for different reasons. Like, Are You Scared? I would say I enjoyed because, well, that was little channel, it hadn't blown up. So you could say there was no pressure at all, I just got to enjoy it. And then I done Are You Scared 2, which I would say was just as much fun because there was suddenly pressure. I made the first one, and as it was trending, it wasn't anywhere near 200,000 yet, but I could see, I'm going to make the second video now, I'll make the second movie, so it's there for people if they want to watch it. And that again done really well. Not the same levels, but fucking unbelievable for me. And then I've got my Stay Alive video, which is a movie that I fucking love, like I genuinely love, so I got to gush about that and also still take the piss. Yeah, I enjoy them all for different reasons, even the bad ones. The way I see it is, even in the worst of movies, there was a boardroom. There was somebody had to get money to make the video, so they had to like present it and say, this is the film I want to make and here's why. And people agreed to that. People gave them money to do it, like thousands and thousands of pounds or dollars or whatever. So they can get a yes off of like one investor or one studio. They must have pitched them something good. And I think it's my job to kind of find that nugget, find that thing that probably was the pitch, and then just what the fuck happened all around. Basically. So this was kind of my diary. If you've enjoyed it, please do let me know. These probably won't be regular things, but the end of next year, it'd be quite cool to maybe do it annually, as I kind of look back, see where I'm at, and check back in once a year on this basis. If you want to find me, I've touched on it in the video. You can get me on Twitter for just kind of up-to-dates, what I'm up to, chat some shit. It's just a bit of a laugh, really. If you want to see me streaming, do follow me on Twitch. And if you do have any questions you still want answered, maybe you've thought of some, maybe you want to know going forward, you're always welcome in the chat, in the comments. Just jump in. And if you want to find my long-form content, stay where you are. It's right here. It's probably recommended on the side somewhere. And to wrap things up, I just want to kind of bring it full circle and just again say thank you to everyone who's watched this video, watched any of my content, liked it, shared it with a friend. You might have thought. That to me is wild, that thought, because I've watched YouTube for years, since like, I don't know, 2010. I've watched it, I've wanted to do it, and I've recommended videos to my friends forever, probably to an annoying degree, so sorry guys. The idea of someone seeing my video and saying to their friend, you need to watch this, is insane to me. I love it. It's wild. And this isn't something I've ever really pushed in my videos. I don't tend to, because it feels a bit imposter syndrome whenever somebody does subscribe to me. Like, I'm just a guy in a room. Do you know what I mean? Just a guy in a room, and I love that you want to support me. That's fucking awesome. So the option's there if you want to. So if you do want to support me like that, you can join here on YouTube, you can subscribe to me on Twitch, whatever you prefer. Some people have their preference. So with all that being said and fucking rambled, let's be honest, thank you so much for watching my 2023 video diary, and thank you and journey to partner. So before heading off, I'm just going to say thank you to my supporters, which will be on screen now somewhere, I don't know, around me. And now that everything's covered, thank you so much for watching. Take care.